Alright, welcome to the stream, welcome to the stream. We're gonna get right into it because I don't have a ton of time. This is a secret Higurashi Thursday right off of work stream. I had said earlier this week that the schedule this week was gonna be kind of off, a lot different than normal weeks. I've been busy and bouncing around and some work things happening, some off-work stuff happening, some real-life stuff happening, some social life stuff happening, and that's going to continue throughout the rest of the week here. But I did say that, you know, I think several days ago, I was like, well, I'll read Higurashi, like, if not Tuesday, then at least Wednesday. And then Wednesday came and went, and I didn't stream even at all. So then I'm like, shit. And I still have normal Thursday night plans, so I was like, well, I could read for like an hour or an hour and a half of Higurashi, sneak in a Thursday thing right off of work. Maybe the energy is going to seem weird. I always say, like, a stream where I come and read or do anything right off of work is kind of weird for me. It feels weird and off, and I don't know how much that comes across on the stream. But we're going to roll with it anyway, and we'll read for, like I said, I don't have a ton of time. I can maybe squeeze in, like, absolute limit cap is, like, an hour and 40 or something. The thing is, I have to leave and make and eat food before my normal Thursday night stuff starts happening, so I've got to cook for myself. That's just what I do. So, yeah, we don't have a ton of time, so we're going to go right into it and hopefully read, like, a section. The stream, you know, if we read for, like, 30 minutes and then it does a natural, like, break, gives us a good ending point, I'm not going to complain. It might just be a weird, awkward... It might just be a weird, awkward 30-minute stream. I don't know. But I can't chance it and go longer if it doesn't break, you know, nicely. I've got my water right here. Alright, Tomoe! We're back with Tomoe. Let's go. I'm a bit late, huh? Oh, there we go. Tomoe wiped the seat. There's not... Great start, seat. The sweat from her forehead with a handkerchief and caught her breath while checking her watch in front of the meeting place. Despite moving at a brisk pace, it took at least 30 minutes to walk here from the station. I'm also going to try to, like, read with a brisk pace. This is, like, reading with a purpose. You know, like, the term, like, walking with a purpose, where you're, like, you're swinging your arms and you're maybe, like, power walking to, like, get to your destination because you kind of can't, like, take too long getting to wherever you're going. We're gonna, like, do that with reading, alright? I'm gonna try to not... No jokes. No frills. This is a completely... some term that I can't think of, reading. She did hear it was far away, so maybe she would have been better off taking a taxi instead of being so stingy. Anyway, this place even has a location in Kakuichi. Not sure if I should be disgusted or impressed. Aw, fucking Angel Mort, dude. She lightly frowned, then took a good long look at the store with a bitter smile on her face. Maid Cafe Restaurant, Angel Mort. Famous for its colorful costumes and vibrant sweets, this restaurant chain now had locations in urban areas all across the country. But her first visit was at the Tokyo location with her former boss, Yamoki. She was so overwhelmed by the strange atmosphere that she shouted from the bottom of her heart, "I'm never ever coming back!" Or so she thought. Nevertheless, ever since that day, Tomoe was completely fascinated by the taste of the sweets the store had to offer. She had been using her loyalty card to rack up a fair number of points up until today. No, truth is, when she pulled her membership card out of her jacket pocket, it was a dazzlingly gold color. Calling it a fair number of points was a major understatement. Not even close. Additionally, since female customers are something of a rarity, the waitresses at the Tokyo store recognize her as a regular customer the moment they see her. Oh, that's fucking awkward. Although, there is another more intense reason they recognize her. Oops, can't just stand around here. Tomoe remembered her meeting and quickly ran up the stairs. Then, she opened the door and stepped inside.
お帰りなさいませ、お嬢様。
Welcome home, lady!
お一人のお帰りですか？
Are you here alone?
あ、いえ、
Oh, no.
ちょっと待ち合わせを。
I'm meeting someone here. I was gonna ask and start a story, but I'm like, I literally just 2 minutes ago said I can't get distracted. So, no story for you guys. Here we go. As she said, relating to Angel Mort, we'll just have to maybe come back to it another day. As she said that, she looked over her shoulder at the waitress, greeting her to check the shop, and a little ways from the back, she noticed a raised hand. When Tomoe saw that, she turned and smiled, then waited for the waitress's permission before heading to the table. Oh! It's straight, long hair. Her. Sorry I'm late. Did I keep you waiting? Natsumi. No, not at all. I just got here myself. The girl sitting on the far side of the table, Natsumi, shook her head and smiled happily. Despite what she said, the orange juice sitting in front of her was half empty, and the ice was completely melted. She's still as humble as ever. Tomoe took a seat across from her, and suddenly let out a chuckle as she looked at the glass. Still, compared to when they first met, when she didn't order anything at their meetings, just drank water, it seemed like she was feeling a little less reserved. Thinking that brought her a little happiness. Question mark? Is something wrong? No, not really. Anyway, this conversation is starting to sound like a date. And between two women, it's a little embarrassing. Yeah. Oh, would you like something to drink? Let me think. It'd be nice to have something sweet, since it's been a while. Excuse me! Tomoe raised her hand and called out to the waitress standing nearby. Then, the waitress came running with a smile on her face and spread the menu out in front of her, and Tomoe circled the item in the right-hand corner of the menu with her finger. About this all-you-can-eat ladies course. Is that still available? Yes! All items are available at this location. Then 2 orders of that, please. For now, just bring all the cakes on this page. Okay, understood, Mila. Milady? Oh, don't worry. You don't have to bring them all at once. And I'd like a hot coffee to go with it. Of course, right away. The waitress's eyes opened wide in disbelief at Tomoe's order. Nevertheless, she bowed and headed back to the kitchen to fulfill her duties. Natsumi let out an amused giggle as she watched the waitress go. You're as incredible as ever. Meanwhile, I feel full after just a single cake. Well, it's just because I'm really active and my job requires me to constantly use my head. They say it's not very ladylike, but if I held back on things like this, I'd get less joy out of life. Sounds so unenthused. Meanwhile, back in the kitchen, there was a huge commotion like the place was being turned upside down. Chief! Could it be? That woman is... Yes, no doubt about it. That's Miss Quadruple from the Tokyo store. What? the legendary food queen who managed to eat 4 of every item on the menu at the Tokyo shop last winter? All the staff suddenly turned and gawked at the faxed picture from the head office hanging on the wall. It was a close-up black and white photo of a woman with a vague smile on her face, but it felt more like a wanted poster you'd see on a police box. And below that was a caption written in thick red marker, "Beware."
確かその時の東京店のメニューってパーティー用の特大ホールケーキもあったんですよね。
But the Tokyo location had full-size cakes intended for parties on the menu back then, right?
10人がかりでも食べきれないでっかいやつ。
Those are too big for even a party of 10 to finish.
それを4個も
And she ate 4 of those?
っていうか、それを除外してもパフェの種類は20以上もあったんですよ。
Even if we exclude those, there are over 20 varieties of parfait on the menu, right?
その4倍ってことは
4 times that would be...
想像しちゃダメ。
Don't try to imagine it.
夢にまで出てくるわよ。
It'll end up haunting you in your dreams.
それに
Plus,
関東地区の春のデザートフェスタで恒例のフードバトルが中止になったのも、その人が冬のフェスタで量、スピード、目利きの3部門で圧勝したからだって聞きましたけど。
I heard they canceled the food battle at the Kanto Spring Desert Festa, yeah. After she won the Winter Fest in all 3 categories, volume, speed, and connoisseur.
おまけにその人に負けじと挑んだ男子が全員救急車で運ばれて。
And I hear that every single one of the boys who tried to challenge her ended up carried out to an ambulance. Unfortunately, none of the staff at the Kakuichi location actually witnessed the scene. However, the people who had witnessed it described it as a tragedy, turned pale anytime they spoke of it.
そもそも赤いなんとかってやつにろくなやつがいた試しがない。
In the first place, I've never met someone dressed in red who turned out to be any good.
ブラックホールに引き込まれる隕石とか小惑星とかってきっとああいう風に消えていくんだろうな。
I'm sure that that's what a black hole looks like as it's devouring asteroids and planets.
鉄の胃袋だとか全身胃袋だとかそんなチャチなもんじゃ断じてね。
It's not like she had an iron stomach, or her whole body was a stomach, or something cheap like that.
もっと恐ろしいものの片鱗を味わったぜ。
What we caught a glimpse of is something far, far more terrifying. They'd barely believed any of those words. No, that wasn't it. They didn't want to believe it. Because much like how sumo wrestlers and macho supermen were concepts that didn't belong together, lady and glutton were concepts that should never be combined. Right?
正当な商取引を踏んでいるだけに、ある意味でクレーマーよりよっぽど立ちが悪いですね。
Even if it's all part of a legitimate business transaction, in a way it's far more disruptive than a chronic complainer.
とにかく
Anyway,
今休憩に入っているパティシエ全員呼び戻して。
call in every pâtissier on break.
クリスマス商戦と同等のスクランブルシフトで乗り切るわよ。
We'll have to pull a scramble shift on the same scale as Christmas sales if we're going to survive this.
了解しました。
Understood. This is goofy. By tomorrow, Tomoe would be famous, or rather infamous, at the Kakuichi location. Nevertheless,
レディース食べ放題なんて危険な代物をメニューに残していたのよ。
why did you have to leave something as dangerous as that ladies all-you-can-eat item on the menu?
カモがネギしょった上に味噌抱えて鍋まで持ってきたようなもんでしょ。
That's like a duck strolling up to a pot holding a leek and covered in miso. The head chef cursed the store manager for completely failing to understand the horrifying notion that women have a second stomach for desserts. Beyond the hustle and bustle in the kitchen, Tomoe and Natsumi were having an enjoyable chat full of friendly atmosphere.
ほんと、なんだか見違えちゃったわね。
You really look so different.
手を振ってくれなかったら、多分しばらく気づかなかったんじゃないかな。
If you hadn't waved your hand, I probably wouldn't have noticed you for a while.
大げさですよ、ともえさん。
You're exaggerating, Tomoe-san.
それよりもどう？
More importantly, how did it go?
その髪、みんなも驚いてたでしょ？
Was everyone surprised to see your hair?
はい、すごく。
Yeah, super surprised.
それに、千里ちゃんたちみんなも、似合ってるって言ってくれて。
And Chisato-chan and everyone else told me it looked nice and it really suited me.
だから大丈夫だって言ったでしょ。
See? Told you it'd be okay.
ストレートのロングは古来より美人の証明なんだから。
The straight and long style has been an icon of beauty since ancient times.
これで少しは私の見立てが正しかったと信じる気になった？
Do you have a little more faith in my judgment now? Natsumi laughed and nodded while bashfully running her fingers through her hair. Tomoya told her from the start it would be alright, but she was worried about how the class might react, so those responses brought her that much more joy.
ねえ、夏美さん。
Hey, Natsumi-san,
世界変わった？
has your world changed?
え？
Huh?
あなたの目に映ってる世界少しは明るくなった？
Does the world seen through your eyes look a little brighter?
はい。
Yes. Natsumi tightly held her hand against her chest and firmly nodded back to her. Even though it was already nighttime, there was something dazzlingly bright in her field of view, and it wasn't just a trick of the lighting. That's right, it was just a few days ago that Natsumi decided to change up her hairstyle. On the way back from her part-time job, while taking shelter in front of the Kakuichi station during a sudden rain shower, she happened to run into Tomoe, who was in the middle of heading to the police station, and their conversation at the time was what triggered it. Flashback, flashback, flashback.
あら、夏美さん？
Oh, Natsumi-san?
こんにちは。
Oh, good afternoon.
あなたも朝の天気予報に騙された口？
Guess you were fooled by the morning weather forecast, too.
はい。
Yeah. Natsumi reproachfully looked up at the gloomy sky as she answered. The sky was so dark and stagnant that it looked like it was almost nightfall, but it was probably just the rain. If they waited a little while, it would probably let up. But the rain started well before she was able to take shelter under the roof, so her wet clothes and hair were uncomfortably clinging to her skin. She tried to wipe herself down with a handkerchief, but it was so small it quickly became soggy and useless. That moment. Huh? A soft object was suddenly draped over her head, blocking her view. It was a towel, and when she lightly moved it out of her eyes, she found Tomoe there, smiling at her.
ともえさん。
Tomoe-san,
貸してあげる。
here, you can borrow this.
私って汗っかきだからいつもハンカチじゃ足りないのよ。
I'm a pretty sweaty person, so handkerchiefs don't always get the job done. What a terrible... I'm a sweaty person. That's not something you want to hear.
あ、それはまだ使ってないやつだからね。
Oh, don't worry. This one hasn't been used yet.
すみません。
Thanks. Thinking it would be rude to refuse the favor at this point, Natsumi shrugged her shoulders and offered her thanks. And the truth is, she really did think she'd catch a cold if she remained the way she was. Tomoe's towel was surprisingly absorbent, like something designed for athletes. A fragrant scent tickled her nose and made her feel very comfortable.
洗剤じゃないよね。
This isn't detergent.
何の香りなんだろう。
What is this scent? Thinking that, and while wiping her hair down like she was combing it, Natsumi suddenly caught her finger on a knot. And to make it worse, her elastic hair tie came out in the process, causing her bun to come undone. Look at that rhyming. And her carefully tied hair to spill over and fall down. Oh, the hair change was a coincidence. What a plot twist. She tried to set it back up in a hurry, but it usually takes several minutes to tie it in the morning, and it would be especially difficult right now since she didn't have a mirror.
へえ。
Wow. Question mark?
何か。
What is it?
あ、ごめんなさい。
Oh, sorry.
私、髪をほどいた夏美さんを初めて見たから、
This is the first time I've seen you with your hair down, Natsumi-san.
とっても綺麗な髪ね。
You have very beautiful hair.
え？
Huh?
そうですか。
You think so?
ええ。
Yeah.
艶やかだし、滑らかで、髪を洗うの結構時間かけてるんじゃない？
It's smooth and glossy. Spend a lot of time washing your hair, don't you?
普段からトリートメントをしっかりやっていないと、こうはならないもの。
It wouldn't look that nice without consistent treatment.
は ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Embarrassed by Tomoe's impressions, Natsumi suddenly looked away to hide her burning cheeks. Even if it was flattering, she couldn't quite handle being called beautiful.
それにお団子結びだからあんまり目立たないけど、相当伸ばしているのね。
And it's hard to notice when it's wrapped in buns, but it's actually quite long.
これならストレートで流している方がきっと可愛いと思うんだけどな。
I think it would be rather cute to leave it straight and flowing. Question mark?
どうしたの、夏美さん。
What's wrong, Natsumi-san? Dots. For some reason, Natsumi suddenly turned her gaze downward and started looking gloomy. Sensing the discomfort in that reaction, Tomoe ran through her words again in her head, wondering if she had said something weird. But before she could say anything, Natsumi muttered a response.
私、以前は髪結ばないで流していたんです。
I used to leave my hair down like this before.
でも
But...
前の町で嫌なあだ名つけられちゃって。
In my old town, I got a bad nickname.
長い髪で幽霊みたいな感じに見えるから座敷わらしだって。
They said my long hair made me look like a ghost. Oh, it's so mean. So they called me Zashiki Warashi.
座敷わらしってあれおかっぱの妖怪でしょ。
Zashiki Warashi, but isn't that a ghost with a bob cut?
全然関係ないじゃない。
I don't see the resemblance at all. Tomoe couldn't help but laugh, amazed by their poor naming sense and vocabulary, although most of the nicknames children came up with are completely baseless.
せめて雪女とか言ってみなさいよね。
At least say it looks like a snow fairy or something.
スノーホワイトは違ったか。
Or maybe Snow White? No, that doesn't work.
でも私、昔はネクラで人と喋るのは今よりも苦手で。
But I was really gloomy back then, and not as good at talking with people.
だからやめてって強く言い返せなくて、その後もずっと。
So I wasn't strong enough to tell them to stop, and so the name stuck after that.
そうなんだ。
I see.
それって小学校の時？
Were you still in elementary school back then? Natsumi remained silent and nodded. Upon hearing that, Tomoe recalled that she had gone through a similar experience of her own, then stopped smiling and clicked her tongue.
たく、どの世代にもバカ男子はいるものね。
Sheesh, there are stupid boys in every generation, huh? Young children before puberty, especially the boys, have a tendency to tease girls and make fun of them. The ones who mature fastest, look the most stylish, or have long hair are most likely to be targeted. Essentially, the ones who show the strongest sexual dimorphism. In many cases, it's like the flip side of shyness that emanates from some form of longing. It's nothing more than an act of wanting to make people pay attention to you. However, in some cases, their mental state is far too underdeveloped, so they take it too far and end up deeply hurting their target. And of course, the listener will overinterpret it and take it to heart, which can have a negative effect on their interpersonal development.
この子もきっとそうなんだろうな。
I'm sure she went through that too. Tomoe had known for a while now that Natsumi was a particularly sensitive girl, and so, given that personality, it was especially likely that unpleasant past memories could remain traumatizing even as she grew older, and that could develop into a type of inferiority complex.
いたわね、そういう意地悪なやつって。
Such mean-spirited brats.
私だったら間違いなくぶっこ。
If I was in your shoes, I'd definitely beat the shit.
もといぶっ飛ばしてやってるところなんだけど。
I mean, I'd knock some sense into them.
本当は私、髪を結ぶのあんまりうまくないから、流した髪型の方が気楽なんです。
Actually, I'm not very good at tying my hair, so leaving it down would be nice.
でも、それ以来嫌なイメージがついちゃって。
But ever since then, I've had a bad image of it.
分かっているんです。そんなの無視すればいいってことくらい。
I know it'd be okay to just ignore it.
ともえさんみたいに自分をしっかり持っている人から見れば。
Compared to someone as
情けないですよね。
Compared to someone as self-confident as you, Tomoe-san, I must look pathetic.
気が弱すぎますよね。
I'm too weak.
夏美さん。
Natsumi-san. She's had a hard life. Tomoe couldn't help but mutter that to herself. She was a gentle, quiet, and adorable girl. In fact, it was no exaggeration to say that she had all the qualifications necessary to call her a beautiful girl. Nevertheless, all those aspects of her beauty actually had a negative impact on her in her childhood that endured even to the present day. Since she's modest, she won't talk back to her aggressors in a fierce tone. Since she's kind, she lets all of her discontent accumulate within herself. And since she's diligent and obedient, she looks for the reasoning behind the things they said, which actually makes it difficult for her to escape that negative mindset. As a result, she continues to be dragged down by past slander, and her lack of self-confidence persists even now.
それがこの子の根っこをダメにしているのね。
So, I corrupted her down to her core, huh? Tomoe gently sighed while watching the flow of people folding up their umbrellas as they passed through the ticket gate. It's easy to tell someone to cheer up when you're in a better position. At the very least, if you lightly smile and talk down the problem, the surrounding atmosphere will turn to normal, and the conversation will end there. But Tomoe shook her head. At this rate, Natsumi would continue to carry these worries for a long time coming.
それでいいわけがない。
Can't just leave it at that. She didn't need anyone saying anything to know that might be considered meddlesome. But for someone in that state, all they need is the time to come to a decision and someone who can trigger it. Although, it might be arrogant and presumptuous to believe that she was in that position right now.
いいわ。
It's fine.
おせっかい上等よ。
Meddling it is. Having come to a decision, Tomoe gently stroked Natsumi's head as she continued hiding her face behind the towel. And when the girl looked up with a dubious expression, Tomoe slowly spoke up.
夏美さん。
Natsumi-san?
むしろ私はあなたの方こそ羨ましいわよ。
Actually, I'm envious. Huh?
私はこういう性格だから。
You know what sort of personality I have?
口よりも手が早くて、しょっちゅう男子相手にでも喧嘩を追っ始めるやつだったの。
My hands are faster than my mouth, so I got into fights with the boys all the time.
それに背もこんなで胸もまあこんな感じで。
Plus, with my height like this and my chest, well, like this.
ワンピースの似合う同級生がすごく妬ましかったし、色気なしってことでこっぴどい失恋をした時もあって。
I was rather jealous of my classmates who looked good in a one piece, so there were times I felt disheartened by my lack of femininity.
かなり落ち込んだこともあったな。
I actually felt really depressed about it.
ともえさんがですか？
Really, Tomoe-san?
そりゃ私も学生時代はそれなりに乙女だったからね。
Of course, I was a maiden in my own way back in my school days.
かっこいい人を好きになって告白して見事玉砕なんてことが何度もあったわ。
There were people I had crushes on, and I got flat out rejected after confessing to them countless times. Oh, me and Tomoe. She's just like me, for real, for real.
だからどうやったら可愛くなれるかとか男の人の好みに近づけるのか。
So I started asking myself, how do I become more pretty? How can I make myself more appealing to men? It reminds me, fucking, I'm sure I've told a story of in my childhood when I did something just based off what she had just said. And we don't have the time right now, and I can't re-say it. But at some point in this stream's history, I've talked about a very big inflection point where I confessed I had a crush on someone in like grade school or something, and how bad of an experience that was. Oh, and how much it backfired on me. Oh my god. So I started asking myself, how do I become more pretty? How can I make myself more appealing to men?
なんて今から考えれば笑っちゃうようなことで悩んでいろいろと無理な背伸びをやってみたな。
But looking back on it now, I want to laugh at those problems. I tried to do all sorts of impossible things to stretch myself beyond my limits.
でもね。
But, even so, Tomoe shrugged her shoulders with a bitter smile on her face and spoke in as soft a tone as she could muster.
あなたが私になれないように私もあなたにはなれない。
I can't be you, and you can't be me.
可愛い子、おしとやかな女性。今でもちょっとは憧れるけど、残念ながら私とは適性が違うのよね。
A cutesy girl, or a graceful lady. Even now, I still feel a bit of a yearning to be like that, but unfortunately, that's just not me.
だから私は私をやるしかないってある時に気づいたというか吹っ切れたのよ。
So, at some point, I had a breakthrough and realized the best thing is to simply be yourself.
私を
Be yourself?
やる
そう
Oh, I cut her off. I'm so sorry, Natsumi.
私をやる
There we go. Yes.
ありのままに自然体でありつつ人からも良いと褒められて自分のいいと信じることをまっすぐに精一杯表に出していこうってね。
To put it plainly, continue living life as it naturally comes to you. Accept whatever praise you receive from others, and do your best to believe in yourself and let that confidence show.
もちろん人に不快感を与えるような欠点は直すように心がけるけどそればかりを意識してると直すよりもむしろ隠す方に気持ちがいっちゃうから。
Of course, do try to fix any shortcomings that can make other people feel uncomfortable, but if you're overly self-conscious of that, you're more likely to hide those flaws rather than fix them. Fixing versus hiding your shortcomings. Those two responses are very similar, and the latter can often be achieved without the host even realizing it. If you don't want to be told you're a poor speaker, simply don't join the conversation in the first place. If you don't want people pointing out that you're weak-willed, don't interact with people at all. But that act won't eliminate or mitigate your shortcomings. You're actually missing out on the opportunity to do so. And you can't let others see that you're hiding how you feel, so that shame casts a shadow on your heart, leading to a real possibility of developing an inferiority complex or self-loathing.
直すと隠すは違う
Fixing it isn't the same as hiding it.
ええ
Right.
そしてそれに気づくことができたのは自分自身と向き合って良いところと悪いところをしっかり意識したおかげだと思う。
And I think I realized that because I looked at myself and was able to see both the good and the bad.
とりあえず男勝りで頑固一徹って女性の評価らしくないけどそこがいいって言ってくれた人がいたからそれを信じてやってみた。
Anyway, being stubborn and strong-minded may not have earned me many points as a woman, but other people told me it was a good thing, so I decided to believe them.
自分にとっても無理がないし楽だったしね。
It felt easy and natural.
でそうしているうちにガサツで爪の甘い欠点が出てきたから周囲の人たちに迷惑をかけないように少しずつ直すことを心がけていった。
And then I started to notice those shortcomings while doing that, and little by little I tried to fix them so I'd be less of an annoyance to others.
それが今の私なのよ。
And that's who I am now. Natsumi suddenly looked back on herself, with Tomoe's words circling over and over inside her head. How has she been facing herself up until now? No, has she ever really faced herself at all? She was always conscious of the shortcomings that made things difficult for others, that her parents pointed out to her, and she had been trying over and over to improve them through trial and error.
でも
But were the things she did actually fixing things? Her gloomy personality, her melancholy appearance, her lack of special skills to entertain others, and general lack of conversation ability. She spent the whole time trying to hide them rather than fix them. So she was scared of other people learning about that. She was worried those flaws would inadvertently emerge sometime. That guilt and hesitation made her feel inferior, and it weighed heavily on her heart.
だけど
But...
私そんな風に思えない。
I can't think of it that way.
あなただからそんなにも心が強い友さんだからそんなことが言えるんです。
Tomoe-san, you're able to say that because you're strong.
夏美さん
Natsumi-san,
名前聞いてごめんなさい。
I'm sorry if this is rude of me to say.
でも私はそんなにも割り切って自分を信じることができない。
But I can't be that rational, and I can't believe in myself like that.
いいところって言われても何も思いつかないし、悪いところを人に指摘されてそれがどうしたなんて開き直ることもできない。
I can't think of anything good about myself, and people only point out the bad things, so can't just brush it off like it's nothing.
だから私はあなたみたいにはなれない。
So I can't be like you.
それがわかるんです。
I understand that.
よくわかってるんです。
I understand that well. Natsumi gently looked down and muttered that, with the towel still on her head. Even she knew it was a miserable thing to say, but she couldn't help saying it. A strong person, with confidence to take on anything, and a sense of superiority over others, can easily overcome pain and hardship. But for those who don't, the mere act of making an effort is painful and trying. Their circumstances were completely different, so someone like Tomoe, who was excellent at everything, couldn't understand her feelings. She was sincerely looking out for Natsumi, but as long as there was that huge disparity between them, she was ultimately just imposing her own selfish values on the girl. However...
Natsumi-san, 気づいてる?
Tomoe just laughing at Natsumi. Tough. Natsumi-san, didn't you notice?
今あなた、私と同じことを言ったのよ。
Just now, you said the same thing as I did. Or, you said the same thing I did. Huh? Natsumi suddenly looked up in response to Tomoe's laughter, began to blush as she thought about the words she just said. It was just as she said. Though the emotions behind them were the complete opposite, the actual words were the same.
さっきも言った通り、あなたが私になれないのは、その逆が成立しないのと同じ。
It's like I said before, you can't be me, and the opposite also holds true.
だから、私になんてなる必要は全然ない。
So, there's no need to try and be like me.
あなたなりの変わるきっかけを見つけて、あなたにできる範囲とやり方を探し出せばいいの。
Find your own opportunities to change. Find the means to do it yourself.
それは新しい何かを見つけ出して、それを身につける努力じゃない。
I'm not talking about finding something completely new and changing yourself to suit it.
元からあった自分の何かをクローズアップして、程よく飾り付けていくだけの、言うなれば、見方や発想の転換なのよ。
It's about changing your perspective and way of thinking. Just take a close-up view of some aspect of yourself and moderately embellish it.
見方や発想を変える。
Changing my perspective and way of thinking?
ええ、そういうこと。
Right? Exactly.
0から1は大変だけど、1をどう見せるかは思ったよりも楽。
Going from 0 to 1 is hard, but taking something that's already present and thinking about how you can show it is much easier.
それにあなたには、私にはないとても素敵なところがあるじゃない?
And you do have nice qualities of your own that I lack, right?
例えばこの髪とか。
Like your
でしょ?
hair? Like your hair, for example. Tomoe gently rubbed her fingers through Natsumi's moist hair as she said that. Despite being tied up until a few minutes ago, her long dark hair was completely straight and had a smooth feel to Tomoe's hand like it was bathed in oil.
何が妖怪よ?
What about this is ghost-like?
私はこの髪がとっても綺麗で憧れるほどに羨ましいって正直に思ったわ。
I think this hair is beautiful. Honestly, I'm so envious. I love this face from Tomoe.
ともえさん。
Tomoe-san.
でもあなたが今日ほどいてくれないままだったらきっと私はこの良さに気づかなかった。
But if you hadn't let it down today, I never would have known how great it is.
多分これと同じことなの。
It's probably the same way.
長所も短所もあなたの個性。
With the strong and weak points of your personality.
だから短所と思って隠すと長所と思われる機会をなくしちゃうのよね。
That's why if you try to hide something you think is a shortcoming, you lose the opportunity to see that it might actually be an advantage.
それにね、価値観とか印象とかは時と場所で変化するいい加減な代物。
Plus, your values and impressions change with the time and place, so you can't look at things in a one-sided way.
そしていいと悪いの評価は見る人によって簡単にひっくり返る。
Strong and weak points can easily be flipped around from an outside viewer's perspective.
だって野花を見て綺麗だという人もいれば単なる雑草だって煩わしく感じる人もいるじゃない?
After all, some people look at wildflowers and say they're beautiful, while others say they're just weeds, right?
それどころか同じ人でもその時の感情次第で違う印象を持ったりすることもよくある。
The same person can even have different impressions of the same thing depending on their emotional state at the time.
でも大切なのはどれが正しいかってことじゃない。
But the important thing isn't focusing on which of those is correct.
自分の身近な人、 好きな人たちがどう思ってくれるか。
It's about how the people close to you, the people you like think,
そうでしょ。
right?
はい。
Yeah. Every word Tomoe said felt so warm. It was different from the half-hearted lip service and obnoxious preaching she'd heard before. Tomoe was offering her own advice and encouragement because she genuinely cared about her. There was a strong belief in there, full of trust in others. And so, little by little, the stifling stagnation that had been accumulating in Natsumi's chest for a while now gradually disappeared. She felt the strength returning to her stiff neck and shoulders.
夏美さん、
Natsumi-san,
あなたは自分でどう思っているのかわからないけど、優しくて真面目で素直で。
I can't say what you think of yourself, but I think you're kind, honest, and accepting.
私にはない、あなたが十分に誇ってもいい、いいところがある。
Those are all good qualities you should be proud of. Qualities I don't have.
それはとっても素敵だと思うし、少なくとも私はそんなあなたが大好き。
At the very least, I think they're exceptional, and I love that about you.
だから胸を張って自信を持ってほしいな。
So, I want you to be confident and proud of yourself.
その
Natsumi bashfully turned her gaze downward when she heard the word love being said so directly. It was the first time someone said that straight to her face. But it wasn't bad at all. In fact, she was very, very happy to hear it. Not only because someone older was showing her respect, but also because Tomoe was longing for something of Natsumi's that she didn't have. Even though her heart shouldn't have gotten so riled up hearing the word love from a woman.
私も巴さんのそういうはっきり何でも言えるところ
Me
すごく素敵だと思います。
too, Tomoe-san. You're always so good at speaking clearly. I think that's wonderful.
私も巴さんが好きだし、本当に私
I love you too.
憧れてるんです。
I love you too, Tomoe-san. Honestly, I adore you. Cute.
ありがとう。
Yeah, thanks.
だけど私、あなたにそう言ってもらえても全然実感ないっていうか、信じられなくて。
But even if you tell me that, I don't really feel it at all. I can't believe it.
いつも優しくなりたい、友達に喜んでもらいたいって思っているけど、うまくいかなくて悲しくて落ち込んで。
I don't think I finished the end of that sentence. But even if you tell me that, I don't really feel it at all. I can't believe it. I always try to be kind and I always want to make my friends happy, but when it doesn't work out, I feel sad and depressed.
だから巴さんの言ってくれたいいところが自分に本当にあるのかよくわからなくて。
So, I don't know if I really possess all those nice qualities you say I have.
だけど友達は言ってくれたのよね。
But didn't your friends tell you?
あなたのそんなところがいいって。
That they like those things about you, I mean?
だったらそれを信じるってのはどうかな。
In which case, why not believe it? Huh?
自分自身を信じるって確かに結構勇気がいる。
It does indeed take a lot of courage to believe in yourself.
それはよくわかる。
I understand that well.
でもあなたが大好きな人たちはありのままのあなたがいいって言ってくれたのよね。
But the people you love tell you that they like you for who you are, right?
ならもう少し力を抜いて自然になってみたら。
Then why not relax a little more and let your natural self out?
自然に
My natural self?
ええ、そう。
Yes, that's right.
そうしてあなたが今まで隠していた欠点、欠点と思わされていたところを少しずつでも出して確かめてみたらどうかしら。
And then the shortcomings you've been keeping hidden, or rather the things you've been led to believe are shortcomings, can come out. And little by little you can double check them.
悪いままなら相談して直せるように努力して。
If it's actually something bad, you can talk it out and try to fix it.
でも勘違いならそのままで。
But if it was a misunderstanding, then don't do anything about it.
そうすればきっと隠してきた時よりもずっと前向きな解決策が見つかると思うわ。
do that, and I think you'll find yourself coming up with more positive solutions than when you were constantly hiding them. Come to think of it, Natsumi remembered something. When she confessed her honest feelings and worries to Chisato and Tomoko, the two of them did indeed tell her. Relying on us is fine. Being honest is fine. They made a promise. If any of us is making things difficult for each other, let's talk it out properly and fix the problem. She was delighted. For Natsumi, who was starting to feel painfully crushed by the need to behave like a good child, those were practically the words of salvation. But honestly, she was still worried. If she exposed the part of herself that she was hesitant to reveal, and it got a poor reaction, what would she do? And, if it makes them disappointed or uncomfortable, in the end, would they stop liking her and instead badmouth her like her old classmates did? It was frightening just imagining it. A chill ran through Natsumi that had nothing to do with her damp clothes, and her whole body began shaking.
ダメよ、夏美さん。
That's no good, Natsumi-san.
それがあなたの悪いところ。
That's one of your weak points. Huh? Perhaps sensing the musings in Natsumi's mind, Tomoe gently poked Natsumi on the nose with her finger. And then, she stared straight at the wide-eyed girl, as if to offer her guidance.
相手の気持ちとか反応とかをまず考えてあげるのはとてもいいこと。
The fact that you immediately start thinking about the feelings of others is a very good thing.
だけど、自分の意思を拒絶されることばかり考えずに、容認してもらう可能性も信じなきゃ。
But you can't just think that you're going to be rejected. You have to believe in the possibility that they'll accept you.
だって、あなたは相手に迷惑をかけるつもりじゃないんだし、相手もそれが嫌だと言ったわけじゃないんだし。ね?
So, don't go into it expecting to be a bother for them. And don't assume they'll say they don't like it. Okay?
まして、あなたの心が許せる親しい友達なんでしょ?
Plus, a close friend will be able to forgive anything in your heart, right?
だったら、善意の方を何よりも信じてあげないと、むしろ友達がかわいそうだと思うけどな。
If you don't believe they'll handle in good faith, then I feel bad for those friends.
それが優しさってものよ。
That's what kindness is. Did you fall down? Right. They're open-minded people, so why not trust that they're willing to accept you as you are? There's a chance you'll be betrayed. You may not meet their expectations, so it certainly is uneasy and scary. But it's important to have faith and take that first step.
あ、そうそう。
Oh, right.
だったら夏美さん。
In that case, Natsumi-san?
はい。
Yes?
これもいい機会よ。
This is also a good opportunity.
勇気を振り絞るきっかけに、昔言われていた悪口がいかにいい加減でデタラメなものだったか、実際に証明してやるってのはどう?
To foster your courage, how about we actually prove how completely nonsensical the bad things these kids said about you truly are?
え?
Huh?
証明ってどうやってですか?
Prove it? How?
決まってるじゃない。
Isn't it obvious?
髪型を戻すのよ。元のストレートロングに。
Revert to your original straight and long hairstyle.
絶対似合うはずだから。ね?
Because it absolutely does look good on you, okay?
そんな。
I couldn't... Will Natsumi. Natsumi was so startled she was about to fall over, and then she immediately began shaking her head. Tomoe's proposal was too big of a leap. Seriously, what kind of reaction would she get if she suddenly underwent such a drastic makeover?
できません。
I can't.
そんなこと、私。
That's too much.
まだ座敷わらしのことが気になる?
Are you still worried about being called Zashiki Warashi?
冗談じゃない。こんな可愛い妖怪あってたまるかっての。
Who do you think you're kidding? Who ever heard of such a cute ghost?
今でもそんなこと言うやつがいたら私の前に連れてきなさい。
If someone actually does say that, you bring them straight to me.
すぐに眼科と精神科へ叩き込んでやるわ。
I'll drag them straight to an ophthalmologist and a psychiatrist.
大丈夫だって。私が保証するから。
It'll be alright. I guarantee it.
ストレートの髪の夏美さんはきっと可愛いって。
Because you're super cute with straight hair, Natsumi-san.
絶対みんなも同じことを思うはずよ。
Everyone is definitely going to have the same thought, right?
でも。
But... Natsumi ducked her head down in a hard rejection. Tomoe stared at her like that for a while, but then she suddenly pinched Natsumi's cheeks and lightly tugged at them. What?
何を
What?
夏美さん、
Natsumi-san,
さっき私とは違うって言ってたわよね。
I told you earlier, you and I are different.
でも一つ同じところを見つけちゃった。
But there's one thing we have in common. Huh?
意外に頑固なところよ。
We're surprisingly stubborn.
ガン
Stub? Natsumi's thoughts ceased for a moment when she noticed the point of commonality between herself and Tomoe that she had never even considered before. If someone other than Tomoe had told her that, she might have taken it as an insult and felt resentful, or maybe she'd start feeling depressed and cut off the conversation right then and there. Even so, the person she loved and respected was also pointing out that she had the same characteristic in herself. She wasn't sure if she was happy about it or not, but she couldn't help but have a strange feeling come over her.
私そんなに頑固ですか？
I'm that stubborn?
ええ、私と同じくらいにね。
Yeah, just as much as me.
だってあなた髪を切らなかったんでしょ？
That's why you never cut your hair, right? Huh?
勝手な憶測だったらごめんね。
I'm sorry if this is baseless conjecture.
髪のことで悪く言われたのに、それを今まで大切にしてきた。
But despite other people saying bad things about your hair, you've still taken very good care of it, even up until now.
ってことは、本当はその髪が自分の素敵なところだってあなたは思っていたんじゃないの？
I mean, doesn't that prove that you yourself really thought that your hair was a good quality?
私もね、実は自分のこういう男勝りな性格結構気に入ってるの。
It's the same for me. I actually really like this strong-minded personality.
だから直した方がいいって言われたりして、自分でもそうかもって思ったこともあったんだけど、
So,
結局直さなかった。
even though people told me I ought to fix that about myself, I thought about it and decided it wasn't something I needed to change.
でもそれって夏美さんの髪のこととなんだか似ていないかしら？
Don't you think that situation with your hair is similar? Natsumi's eyes opened wide when Tomoe pointed that out, because it wasn't mere conjecture, it was precisely that. The truth is, she inherited this hair from her mother, and she liked it a lot. That's why she insisted on growing it out since she was young and never cut it. But nobody ever praised it, so she started to think it was nothing more than personal bias, and always kept quiet about it. It became a secret feeling that she couldn't share with anyone, but Tomoe was able to spot it easily.
やっぱりこの人は違う。
That's right. She really is different. It was the first time that someone understood her, or rather, that someone truly made an effort to understand her. Not even her parents had ever spoken to her that sincerely.
やっぱり巴さんはすごいな。
Tomoe-san, you really are amazing.
私の思ってることすぐに分かっちゃうんだもの。
No matter what I'm thinking, you always pick up on it immediately.
さすが刑事さんですね。
You're a detective, all right.
まあ今は私刑事じゃないんだけどね。
Well, I'm actually not a detective at the moment.
私のお母さんも髪がとっても綺麗で、
My mama has really pretty hair too.
親戚の人たちも素敵だってよく言ってくれます。
My relatives often tell her how nice it is.
でも私は言われたことないから、ひょっとしたら似合ってないのかなって。
But they've never told me that, so I thought maybe it doesn't suit me.
そんなことないわよ絶対。
That's absolutely not true.
私はこの通り癖っ気だから、あなたのその髪がとっても羨ましいもの。
Look how frizzy my hair is. Of course I'm envious of yours.
むしろちょん切って外出用のつけ毛に使いたいくらいよ。
I like to chop it off and use it as a wig when I'm going out.
うん。
Huh?
自信持って夏美さん。
Have confidence, Natsumi-san.
昔のことは昔のこと。
The past is the past.
今ならきっとみんな素敵だって言ってくれるはずよ。
I'm sure nowadays everyone would tell you it's great.
私があなたに嘘を言ったことってあった？
Have I ever lied to you?
それによく考えてみて。
And think about it.
所詮髪型を変えるだけのことでしょ？
It's just a change of hairstyle after all.
だからもし反応が悪かったとしても、次の日に元に戻せばそれでリセット。
So even if you do get a bad reaction, you can always just pack it or put it back the next day and reset everything.
クラスのみんなには寝坊してセットしてくる暇なかったって言えば全部チャラになるわ。
You could even tell them you overslept and didn't have time to put it up. Then all will be back to normal.
もっともそんなことは絶対ないと私は断言してもいいけどね。
But I promise you, there'll be no need to say that.
それはそうですけど。
Well, that's true, but
別にいきなりは変わらなくてもいい。
you don't have to make any other sudden changes aside from that.
さすがに周りもびっくりしちゃうしね。
Everyone around you will be surprised, of course.
でも少しずつできる範囲から変えていくのは意外に簡単だったりするものよ。
But it's surprisingly easy to change things little by little.
ともえさん。
Tomoe-san.
そして自分の力で何かを変えた世界はきっとどんなに小さくてもあなたにとって素敵な明るい世界になってくれるはず。
No matter how small a change it is, the world you change with your own power will be a nicer, brighter world for you.
私はそう信じている。
That's what I believe.
そしてあなたのために祈っているわ。
And I'll be praying for you.
はい。
Yeah. She still seemed skeptical, but even so, Natsumi thought it over for a while and then nodded. She was usually very shy, and was even more likely to refuse when forcibly told to do something. But, for some reason, she felt she could completely trust Tomoe. Some sort of conviction inside her was telling her that. And everything did indeed play out exactly like Tomoe had predicted. Natsumi's faith in her was growing stronger and more certain.
ね
See?
え、嘘なんかじゃなかったでしょ。
I wasn't lying.
はい。
Yeah,
ともえさんの言った通りでした。
it's just as you said, Tomoe-san.
おかげで私、なんだかちょっと自信が出てきて。
And thanks to that, I'm starting to feel a little more confident.
ありがとうございます。本当に。
Thank you so much.
そんな風に言われると逆にくすぐったいわ。
When you put it like that, it's actually embarrassing.
そもそも可愛いのは正義。これは古今東西の不動の定理よ。
That's the power of cuteness. It's an indisputable fact of life in any time and place.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
それからですね。
Oh, and there's something else.
その。
なになに？
What is it?
いい話？
Something good?
とても。
Yes, very.
実は、その。
The truth is, Nasumi somewhat shyly, but also very ecstatically, went on to share that Akira confessed to her the other day.
え、そうなの？
Huh? Really?
よかったじゃない。おめでとう。
Isn't that great? Congratulations!
なんだか、まだ夢を見ているような感じで。
It feels like I'm still in a dream.
ちょっと髪型を変えただけなのに、こんなにもいいことが起きてくれるなんて、全然思ってなかったから。
It was just a little change of hairstyle. I never thought something this great would happen.
でも信じてもいいんじゃない？
But you're able to believe it, right?
これからはきっといいことずくめよ。
From now on, I'm sure good things will happen one after another.
だってあなたは昔よりも前に踏み出したんだから。
Because you've taken a step further than you did before.
いいことだらけの人生じゃないけど、努力した人間が全然報われない世の中なんて、私は絶対認めないんだから。ね。
Life may not all be good things, but I'll never accept a world where people who put in an effort aren't rewarded for it. Right?
ともえさん。
Tomoe-san.
はい。
Yeah. Nasumi had a smile on her face so gleeful it was about to burst as she playfully twirled her hair around her fingers. Just looking at that, the joy seemed to come through to Tomoe, and she began smiling herself.
そうだ。私はそう信じている。
Yes, that's what I believe.
信じるって決めたんだ。
I decided to believe that. Maybe it's just lip service. She understood that you could say anything and that would be it. Still, if you give up on that belief, then it's all over. And, as long as there are people who can be saved by that belief, she'll continue to carry it with her forever. That's why Tomoe continued unwaveringly, telling herself and others precisely that. Just then, multiple waitresses began laying trays full of sweets down on the table while saying, "Sorry to keep you waiting." Within a moment, the air is filled with a sweet aroma, and curious gazes came pointing this way from the surrounding seats.
なら今日はそのお祝いね。
Then today's a celebration.
夏美さん、ここから好きなだけ食べてもいいわよ。
Natsumi-san, feel free to eat as much as you want, okay? Huh?
でも
But
安心して。
don't worry.
もともとおかわりする予定だったんだから。
I was planning to order a second helping anyway.
そうなんですか？
Really? Eek.
チーフ
Chief! The waitresses screamed and flew off toward the kitchen as soon as they heard Tomoe say that. Shortly after they stepped inside, it seemed like pandemonium had broken out in there, but it was probably just her imagination.
おい、まだ食うのかよ。
Man, she's still eating?
一体どんな胃袋しているんだ？
Just what kind of stomach does she have? Tomoe could hear the other customers prattling on, but she scooped up a bite of cake without any hesitation and popped it into her mouth. By the time she finished her third helping, their curiosity had transformed into astonishment and admiration.
とりあえずま、腹8分目ってところかな。
Anyway, maybe I should stop before I stuff myself?
このくらいにしておきましょうか。
This seems like a good stopping point.
全メニュー3周したんですけど。
You ate every item on the menu 3 times over. Natsumi stiffened up and turned toward the kitchen. The entire waitstaff was over there, looking so exhausted their souls were practically bleeding out, and the kitchen staff looked completely pale, collapsed in fatigue. The ladies' all-you-can-eat course will probably disappear from the Kakuichi menu after this, or maybe they'll add a caveat below it, no professionals. Natsumi, on the other hand, hardly ate a thing, but it was still far beyond the cost of feeding 2 people.
お土産くらいは別途で買ってあげようかな。
Maybe I'll buy some souvenirs or something to make up for it. Though she thought that half teasingly, Tomoe's conscience did start to hurt, so she began staring at the takeout menu right next to her and thinking about the amount of money in her wallet.
そうだ。
Oh, right.
薬飲まなくちゃ。
I need to take my medicine.
風邪でもひいたの？
Have you caught a cold?
ああ、いえ。
Oh, no.
私の常備薬なんです。
This is my regular medicine. Natsumi pulled a small pill case out of her pouch as she said that, then opened it. Inside was a package of sickeningly vibrantly colored capsules. There was something unsettling about the luster of the pills. It's a very peculiar color. With medication, especially when taken orally, the color of the capsule is something they take into consideration. Psychologically, people have a harder time swallowing things when the coloration makes it look like a non-food item. Nevertheless, the medicine in Natsumi's hand looked even more flashy and colorful than imported sweets. Though she felt dubious, Tomoe also realized it could be a personal matter, so she didn't want to ask about the medication.
やっぱりいいか。
Actually, I guess it's fine.
どうしたの？
What's wrong?
これ飲むとちょっと眠くなっちゃうんです。
If I take this now, I'll start feeling sleepy.
せっかくともえさんがこれから勉強を見てくれるんだから、帰り間際に飲みます。
Tomoe-san, you're going to a lot of trouble to help me with my studying, so I'll take it after you head home.
そう？
Is that so? Is it really alright to shift the timing of taking medication? No. Those concerns ran through her head, but it was hard to imagine Natsumi suffering from some disease that could drastically change after just a few hours without medication. Uh-oh. If she said it was fine, then maybe it really wasn't a problem.
ビタミン剤と同じで、ちょっと飲みすぎたり、飲み足りなかったりしても大丈夫だって先生が言ってましたから。
The doctor told me it's like vitamins. It's okay to take a little too much or not quite enough.
最近は勉強が終わったら飲むようにしているんです。
These days, I've been taking it after studying.
そうすると頭がすっきりしていい感じになるんですよ。
That way my head stays clear and I feel good.
へえ、便利な薬ね。
Wow, that's some convenient medication. Or medicine.
でもどんな薬でも飲みすぎたり頼りすぎたりするのは体に毒よ。
But it's bad for your body to take or rely too much on any medication, you know?
はい、 気をつけます。
Yes, I'll be careful. At any rate, Tomoe started thinking she was being overly concerned and neglecting the things right in front of her. So, she started moving the dishes to the corner of the table.
で、今週の課題はできた？
So, were you able to finish this week's assignment?
あ、はい。
Yeah.
今日持ってきました。
I brought it with me today. Natsumi pulled the reference book out of her bag as she said that. It was a small printed book with perforated lines for easy tearing out pages. Tomoe spread the material out on the table in front of her. Then she pulled a fountain pen out of her breast pocket and slowly and carefully started making corrections.
数学は基礎ができてきたみたいね。
Seems like you have a good foundation on math.
英語は得意分野だから問題な。
English is your area of expertise, so that's no pro.
あ、関係詞の訳が間違って
Or
る。ほら。
Oh, these relative clauses are translated wrong. Here, take a look.
あ、本当だ。
Oh, you're right.
じゃあここは
Then if
こうで
this...
こうですか？
Then if this is here, then it should be like this?
その通り。
Yes, exactly.
慌ててミスったらもったいないし、落ち着いていこうね。
You'll inevitably make mistakes if you rush, so it's best to keep calm and take it slow.
はい。
Right. Natsumi had been consulting with Tomoe on all sorts of things since they met at the Gogura University Hospital and became friends. At the time, she said that she was worried about her studies in school, so Tomoe made time to help answer her questions. And at this point, their meetings became like a correspondence course.
それにしても、相変わらず英語長文は強いわね。
Still, though, your grasp on longer English sentences is as good as ever.
正教徒革命と名誉革命の内容、ここまで的確に訳せるのは大したものよ。
It's impressive that you're able to translate these parts about the Puritan Revolution and the Bloodless Revolution so accurately.
でも巴さんも詳しいですね。
But Tomoe-san, you're really skilled too.
英文を見ただけで分かっちゃうんですから。
You can understand English text without even needing to think about it.
まあ、私は昔、イギリスのこの時代が特に好きだって人が知り合いにいてね。
Well, back in the day, I knew some people who were really obsessed with this period in English's history.
自分も覚えちゃったっていうか。
I guess I ended up remembering some of it.
そうなんですか。
Really?
私もイギリス史が子供の頃から好きなんです。
I've also been a fan of British history ever since I was young.
アーサー王の伝説とか、エリザベス女王の頃の大航海時代とか、なんだか童話や小説を読んでいるみたいで楽しくて。
Like the legend of King Arthur and the Age of Discovery back in Queen Elizabeth's time. It's really fun, like reading a fairy tale or a novel. As expected, a bookworm completely lived up to her reputation. The sparkle in her eyes as she spoke made it clear she was enjoying herself, and her voice was naturally getting heated.
だから大学に入ったらお金貯めて外国に行きたいんです。
So when I go to college, I want to save up money so I can go overseas.
旅行でもいいんだけど、頑張って留学もできればな、なんて。
Traveling is nice, but if I work really hard, I might be able to study abroad.
そうなんだ。
I see.
じゃあ、将来は歴史学か考古学を専攻するの？
Then, are you planning to major in history or archaeology?
ああ、いえ。
No.
大学では私、介護を勉強したいんです。
I actually want to study nursing in college.
まだ親には話していないんだけど、友達の紹介で今、介護センターでアルバイトしていて。
I still haven't told my parents about this, but I've been working a part-time job at a care center my friend introduced me to.
そこで仲良くなった主任さんたちにも勧められたから、本気で頑張ってみたくて。
And things have been going well there, so the managers recommended it to me, and I really wanted to do my best.
へえ、いいんじゃない？
Wow, isn't that nice?
ちょっと違うかもしれないけど、あなたの好きなイギリスはナイチンゲールの国だもんね。
This is a little bit of a tangent, but Nightingale was from your beloved England, too.
行けばきっとためになるお話を聞けると思うわ。
If you go, I'm sure you can hear all kinds of interesting stories. Wait, wouldn't Sweden or one of the Scandinavian countries be a better fit for nursing care? Tomoe introspectively tilted her head, but decided to let it go for now. Interest in foreign countries in any form and visiting them is a valuable experience for gaining a wider world view.
ま、そのためには英語をもっと頑張らないとね。
Well, in that case, you'll have to work extra hard studying English.
今度私の使っていた英会話の教材を持ってきてあげる。
Next time I'll bring you some of my reference material on English conversation.
買うと高いから暇な時に使ってみて。
They'd be really expensive to buy on your own, so feel free to use them in your spare time.
すみません、いつも
Thanks for everything.
忙しいのにいろいろ気を使ってもらって。
Even though you're so busy, you're doing so much to look out for me.
いいのよ。私が好きでやっているんだから気にしないで。
It's fine. I do this because I want to. No need to worry.
こっちもちょうどいい頭の体操になって結構楽しいしね。
Plus, it makes for some interesting mental gymnastics, and that makes it fun, you know?
ありがとうございます、ともえさん。
Thanks, Tomoe-san.
あ、そうそう。
Oh, that's right.
今週から私また柿内の独身寮に戻ることになったから、
Starting this week, I'm moving back to an apartment in Kakuichi.
次からは新しい住所に送ってね。
I'll give you my new address next time.
そうなんですか？
Is that so?
じゃあ
Then, yeah.
オフの日はマンツーマンできっちり見てあげるから、
On my days off, I'll be able to meet with you one-on-one.
その代わり覚悟しなさいよ。
So get ready for that, okay?
はい、
Yeah!
よろしくお願いします。
Looking forward to it. Nasumi gleefully bowed her head with a smile on her face. Just looking at her smiling face was enough to heal all the fatigue of Tomoe's strenuous daily work and make her feel at ease. So, Tomoe didn't feel like the time she spent with Natsumi was a burden at all.
そういえば、ともえさんって国立の鹿島大なんですよね。
By the way, Tomoe-san, you went to Kashima University, right?
うん、そうだけど。
Yeah, what about it?
友達に聞いたら、鹿島大は日本で一番先生になる人が多い大学だって。
When I spoke with my friends, they said Kashima University is the best college in all of Japan for people who want to become teachers.
でもなんだか納得です。
Somehow, that makes sense.
ともえさんも教え方がすごく上手だし、なんだか本当の先生みたいで。
Because you're really good at teaching things, Tomoe-san. You're like a real teacher.
先生か。私はちょっと柄じゃないわね。
A teacher, huh? It's a little out of character for me.
私そんなに勉強が得意じゃなかったし、
I was never very good at studying.
むしろ真剣に目指していたのは、そうね、スチュワーデスさんにはなりたかったかな。
In fact, what I was seriously aiming to become was, well, I wanted to be a stewardess.
スチュワーデスさんですか？
A stewardess?
でも、ともえさんって陸上。
But, Tomoe-san, you were into track and field.
マラソンとかと違って高跳びは実業団の枠が少ないから、
Unlike the marathon, the high jump isn't much of a corporate sport.
そっちで将来を目指す気はあんまりなかったわね。
So I didn't think I had much of a future pursuing that.
まあ小さい時の夢とはいえ、外国に行く仕事には憧れていたから割と真剣に狙ってたのよ。
Well, did have dreams of going abroad when I was young, so maybe I was actually aiming for that.
へえ。
Wow.
だから英語の上達はその副産物ってところかな。
So, my progress in English is probably a byproduct of that.
それにレターコードとか専門用語もいっぱい覚えたっけ。
I even memorized a bunch of alphabetic letter codes and technical terms.
レターコード？
Letter codes?
空港とか航空会社をアルファベットの3文字や2文字で記したものなの。
Like how airports and airline companies are referred to with 2 or 3 letter acronyms.
例えば羽田空港なら HND、 柿内空港は KKU。
For example, Haneda Airport is HND and Kakuji Airport is KKU.
ジャパン航空なら JA とかね。
And Japan Airlines is JA.
世界中だとすごい数になるから全部言えるのはちょっと自慢だったわ。
They're used all across the world, so I was a little proud to be able to name all of them.
すごいな。
That's amazing. Is it? In fact, being a police officer was the thing she most wanted to avoid, so she couldn't help but feel the irony of her fate. And...
リュウグウ、レイナ。
Reina, Ryugu. Talk with Natsumi and helping her study like this made Tomoe think of another girl of roughly the same age, who Tomoe was still pursuing as a material witness, or rather, potential suspect. Thinking about the absurdity of that juxtaposition always made her chest ache.
さあ、
What a mood
この
shift.
調子でもうちょっとここで頑張ってみよっか。
Now, You'll have to work hard and keep at it like this, just a little more.
次の目標は期末テスト全科目平均点超えでどう？
The next challenge is midterms. Do you think you'll be able to score above average in all subjects? Yeah.
頑張ります。
I'll do my best.
よーし
Alright.
って大丈夫かな？
Wait, is this really okay?
ここってそろそろ混む時間帯でしょ？
Isn't this shop about to enter its rush hour?
あんまり長居すると怒られちゃうかもね。
If we stay here much longer, they might get upset with us.
平気です。
Oh, it's fine.
ここの店長さんって実は知り合いですから。
Actually, the manager of the shop is an acquaintance of mine.
私の親戚のおじいちゃんの将棋仲間で、お願いしたらここを使ってもいいって。
He's an old shogi playing partner with one of my relatives. If I asked, I'm sure he'd be okay.
へえ。
Wow.
じゃあその親戚さんもこの柿内に？
So, does this relative of yours live in Kakuichi too?
いえ、住んでいるのはひなみ沢って言って、沖宮の隣なんです。
No, he actually lives in a place called Hinamizawa. It's right next to Okinomiya.
そこの村の村長さん。正確には町会長さんをやっています。
He's the mayor of the village there. Or, to be more precise, the town chairman. Memories from half a year ago stirred within Tomoe when she heard that explanation. Back when she visited there with Oishi, he told her about the three families that reigned over Hinamizawa, one of which was the Kimiyoshi family. And it's true that the mayor's name was Kiichiro Kimiyoshi.
私は園崎家を筆頭とする御三家が怪しいと睨んでいます。
I have my suspicions about the three families, which are led by the Sonozaki family. Oishi's words from back then came to mind from when she was investigating the curse in Hinamizawa. And Natsumi really did share the same blood as the three families.
変わった名字だからもしやとは思っていたけど。
It was an unusual last name, so the possibility nagged at me. Up until now, she always wanted to ask Natsumi about it to make certain, and if she was actually connected, she'd like to ask for her help in gathering information. Sensing a strong information source, Tomoe's thought process switched back to that of a police officer. It wasn't just about Reina Ryugu. Just as Oishi said, there seemed to be something going on in Hinamizawa. Tomoe herself was nearly killed there, but her suspicions were further heightened by the mysterious presence she constantly felt while on her investigation. In the first place, the movements in the background were far too disturbing to write off as a mere murder and abnormal behavior. And for that reason, she truly wanted to get all the information she could.
Kimiyoshi, Natsumi.
Natsumi, Kimiyoshi.
御三家の一つ、Kimiyoshi家の当主を親戚に持つ子。
A girl related to the head of the Kimiyoshi family, of the three families. Huh? What should she do? At the very least, the girl trusted Tomoe, and she was confident she wasn't being conceited about that notion. So it might be possible for Tomoe to ask for her assistance, or get something out of her.
ともえさん
Tomoe-san?
ともえさん
Tomoe-san.
え
What?
何？
But what is it?
どうしました？
What's wrong?
やっぱりお疲れですか？
Are you feeling tired after all?
そんなことないわよ。
No, that's not it.
ただちょっと来週のテレビ取材のことを考えていてね。
I was just thinking about next week's TV coverage.
と
Huh?
もえさんテレビに出るんですか？
Tomoe-san, you're going to be on TV?
まあね、
Well, you could say that.
目立つのは嫌いだけど、これも仕事だし。
I do hate being in the spotlight, but it's part of the job. She spoke with a smile on her face, but thoughts and calculations were racing inside Tomoe's head. Right, she could just casually bring up Hinamizawa and ask about the curse and past incidents. She's an honest girl, so she'd probably be willing to share everything she knew without reservations if Tomoe told her she was simply interested in folklore. Having made up her mind, Tomoe raised her head, but just then...
ともえさん
Tomoe-san?
何？
What is it?
私一人っ子だったから
I'm an only child.
ずっとともえさんみたいなお姉さんがいたらいいなって思っていました。
I've always thought it'd be nice to have an older sister like you.
優しくて 頼りがいがあって何でも相談できて。
Someone kind and dependable who I could talk to about anything. Huh?
だからともえさんさえ良ければなんですけど。
So, Tomoe-san, if you're fine with it.
これから私ともえ
Aww.
さんのことお姉さんって思っても
From now on, I was thinking it'd be nice to start calling you sis.
そのいいでしょうか。
Would that be alright?
ごめんなさい、変なこと言って。
I'm sorry for suddenly saying something so weird,
でも私
but I... Looking at that innocent, adorably pitiful expression, Tomoe immediately came to regret her distasteful thoughts from a moment ago. You idiot. What were you thinking? Did you want a repeat of last time? Did you want her to end up like that other girl?
みないさん
Minai-san. She recalled the humble smile of a girl who loved flowers. Tomoe got too heavily involved with her, and then she lost her life. If Tomoe hadn't gotten her connected to the series of murders in Hinamizawa, she'd be living a peaceful life right now.
あの子の未来を奪ったのは
That girl's future was robbed from her. That girl's future was robbed from her. By me. Even now, every time she saw a long-haired girl passing by, it brought back memories of their conversation back then. Carelessly getting people involved with a series of deaths in Hinamizawa is literally putting their lives at risk. Tomoe had had enough of that. She didn't want to see another innocent, blameless child with a right to be happy suffering misfortune. Uh,
私も夏美さんみたいな可愛い妹は大歓迎よ。
I'd love to have a little sister as cute as you, Natsumi-san.
まあ私の本当の妹と来たらあなたと違って憎ったらしいというかなんというか。
Well, my actual little sister is very different from you. Kinda mean-spirited and... How should I put it?
ちょっとはあなたを見習えって感じだものね。
She'd benefit from following your example. That's what I think.
そうなんですか。
Huh? Is that so?
でもまあ今思えばこういうところが男子にモテなかった理由なんだろうね。
Well, thinking about it now, that's probably the reason she wasn't popular with the boys.
下級生の女の子からはラブレターもらったことあるけど男子はビビって近づきもしなかったし。
She received love letters from the younger girls, but the boys were always too scared to come close.
この顔で体が曲がっていてよとでもやれってか？
And makes faces that say your tie's crooked, you know?
私はこれでもノーマルだっての。
I, on the other hand, was completely normal. Natsumi responded to that joke with roaring laughter. Tomoe recently noticed that Natsumi had been trying really hard to listen to other people and have fun, so she seemed to be really enjoying the conversation.
裏切りたくない。
I don't want to betray her.
私は
Never again. Tomoe herself realized she was being soft. Still, she didn't want to get other people involved and invite future misfortune.
ありがとうございます、
Oh,
みないさん。
thank you, Minai-san. Damn, that guilt. Looking at Natsumi's long, straight hair. For a moment, a vision of that girl overlapped the scene, so Tomoe gently turned away. Was she trying to get close to Natsumi to atone for what happened to her? At that moment, Tomoe didn't have the confidence to say otherwise.
さてすっかり遅くなっちゃったわね。
Anyway, it's gotten really late.
大丈夫？
Are you sure this is okay?
はい、
Oh, yeah.
知り合いの先輩に勉強を教わっていたって言いますから。
I told my parents I was out studying with an older friend.
エンジェルモートで勉強するってことは連絡済みだし、証拠も教材を見せれば平気です。
I already let them know I was studying at Angel Mort, and I can show them the study materials as evidence, so it'll be fine.
そう？
Oh, really? At any rate, it's normal for parents to be concerned about a girl her age going out, but what kind of parents demands their child present evidence? Even in a place like this, signs of Natsumi's stifling home life were on full display.
なら一緒にタクシー乗っていきましょう。
Then why don't you take a taxi with me?
どうせ私の寮への通り道だし、お金も変わんないからね。
It's on the way back to my apartment, so the fare is the same either way.
あ、でも
But
いいから、
it's fine.
ここはお姉ちゃんに任せなさい。
Leave it to your older sister, okay?
それじゃあお言葉に甘えて。
Then I'll have to accept your kind offer. Get in the taxi. The cityscape was flown quietly outside the window. There were so many people on the roads downtown, even though it was still sparse compared to the daytime. Though there were streetlights along the way, the path was more than overwhelmed by the darkness. Clearly an uncomfortable place for a girl to be walking alone.
タクシー乗せて正解か。
I guess the taxi was the right call. While muttering that to herself, Tomoe turned toward Natsumi sitting beside her and smiled. She was quietly snoring, sleeping peacefully. Though she was hesitant to do so when she first entered the back seat, within minutes of the drive she fell asleep leaning against Tomoe's shoulder. She took her regular medicine right before they left Angel Mort, so that may have been a contributing factor. Even when the car lightly shook, she showed no signs of awakening.
疲れてるんだろうな。
She must be tired. She gently placed a hand on Natsumi's shoulder and ran her fingers through her long hair. Even though she was getting a little more accustomed to it, she was living a busy city life, while also studying for exams. No matter how hard she tried, it wouldn't be strange at all for her to be tired. And on top of that, Natsumi's mother had heard about her struggles in school. It'd be difficult to find a moment to rest under that sort of pressure. Is...
Eh?
Huh?
お姉ちゃん。
Sis. Natsumi faintly muttered that in her sleep, while her cheek was resting against her shoulder. The occasional light from the bright streetlights and neon signs revealed her calm, sleeping face, which is very lovely for someone her age.
変な感じだな。
It's strange. Tomoe was used to being looked up to for her caring nature, but she's only known Natsumi for half a year now. And yet, she hadn't opened her heart to anyone like this apart from the sister she'd been taking care of since she was a child. She was a little surprised that she could get close enough to fawn over someone like this. And for some reason, she was a bit disconcerted by the part of her that was naturally able to accept it. She knew, in consideration of her job, she should have refrained from getting too close, and yet... But as strange as that feeling was, she couldn't say she had felt unpleasant. In fact, she was delighted and very comforted. Cute, cute, cute. Oh my god, we actually did it. Oh, just under an hour and a half. Okay, I really need to, like, beat it fast, so I'm gonna immediately save. As this is loading into the next thing, stream should be happening like normal tomorrow night on a Friday night. Oh, shut up. Uchi. Where the fuck? Menu. Save. It should be happening like regular tomorrow night, but there is, again, another chance that I might miss stream tomorrow night, which might be unfortunate, but I might just be busy. It's been a busy week. Lots of things going on. I apologize either way. Definitely, like I said earlier in the week, no stream on Saturday happening for sure at all. I will be out and about all day, going to a convention. Like the one convention I make a year, basically. Seeing friends, hanging out, doing stuff like that on Saturday all day. And then Sunday I should be back. But I guess there might be a weird chance, again, that I'm still at the convention on Sunday. I don't know. I usually don't make Sunday day on the convention. And then I usually work Friday, so I don't usually do Fridays either. But it's kind of up in the air. It's all up in the air, unfortunately. Or fortunately. But yeah, I should be back on stream tomorrow night. Do a normal stream. But if not, just know something has happened. I say that so ominously. And then no stream on Saturday all day. I'll be out all day. By the time I get home from that, it'll be late. I'll probably be tired. Social functions draining the hell out of me battery wise, but it'll be worth it. So then, assumingly back on Sunday, but if I don't stream Friday or Saturday or Sunday, I will 1,000,000% be back by Monday. I think that's holiday here. I'll be off work. and we'll do stuff because we need to finish still Citizen Sleeper and Axiom Verge 2 before, preferably before Silk Song, Hollow Knight Silk Song comes out next week. So that's the plan. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening along for this very rapid fire. Oh god, the seconds are ticking down before an hour and a half. I'm going to get out before it goes to that. Until next stream, take it easy.